I just wanted to quickly talk about the one of the most important and one of the most easy things you can do in order to actually improve at any fighting game. It's just simply VOD reviewing, and not your VODs, viewing the top players' VODs. And just to quickly show you how to even get to this menu, when you're in the main menu, you go to online rankings, and then you have to tab over twice to versus rank, and then you can filter for the character that you're looking for. In this case, let's look for the best Zoe. So here's the best Zoes. Sin, I'm actually kind of familiar with since he uploads quite a bit on YouTube. He's very good. But let's say we want to watch number 1. And you can see all their matches pop up. One thing to know is that if you go to the display settings, you can actually display different matchups. If you're looking for a specific matchup, you can actually display a specific matchup. Typically, I like to look at somewhat standard characters when I'm first looking for a character, so I recommend looking for Gran, Jita, Catalina. Charlotta's probably fine. Lancelot, maybe not. Percival, sure. Ladiva is probably not a good idea. Matera, no. Lil Wayne, maybe. Like, you're trying to look for characters that basically have a very simple kit, just because that would be your default game plan. You would obviously adjust your game plan depending on the character you're fighting. For example, if you're fighting against a character that is a zoner, your game plan might have to change quite a bit. If you're playing as a super top tier like Nier, your game plan might have to change a bit as well, because there's a lot more things you need to worry about, and he just has to play slightly different in order to counter the matchup. For this example, I'm just going to keep it on all characters and just watch whatever. But now that you're here, you can actually see who they're fighting and the wins and losses. So we're going to watch Zoe versus Cagliostro. You're just simply going to press view replay. And there is one thing that is pretty important to do as soon as you get into the replay, just to show, is you're going to immediately pause. And then you're going to go down to input log, show, so that you can see what they're trying to input, because some situations, they might be inputting more things than you may realize, either because of a buffer or an option select you might know, or like simply something was supposed to come out that didn't, or they got hit out of something that they were trying to do, and then you can kind of see what they were trying to do. If it does help, you can of course look at which side the person you're watching is on, and you can turn on their virtual controller, which puts a controller in the like, you can choose where it is, but you can choose it in the bottom, and it allows you to see the motion inputs if that helps you as well. And maybe you see a cool combo and you're wondering how hard it is, you can also see it displayed here. The first couple things that you kind of want to look for while you're VOD reviewing, especially if you're new, is looking for the most common moves or most common situations the person you're watching is trying to get into. So it's a little hard so far because they're being really aggressive, both of them. As you can see here, he's using 6XL a little bit. He's jumping a lot, and I think it's because he has thunder pressure. And if you don't know, Zoe has like a aerial thunder move that shoots downwards in a cone. You probably saw it earlier. He did it earlier in the fight. And the other thing you might notice is that Zoe is somewhat defensive in this matchup. It might be a matchup thing, but it also could be just a Zoe thing, since Zoe kind of requires you to use Dragon a bit to actually maintain pressure. Right there in the corner, you saw how the Cagliostro whiffed. So the Cagliostro whiffed, and it caused our Zoe to have an opening, but he kind of missed the opening, but that was because of a shimmy. I talk about that in the 6XL guide, but shimmies are very important to do, especially in the corner, to bait throws. That's unfortunate. But as you saw there, he was kind of setting up to do some dragon pressure. He's starting to use laser a bit more. He has him in the corner, and there's a 50-50. He did a safe jump, I believe. He did lightning into safe jump. And he did a pretty simple combo into super to finish that one off. The hardest thing about these VODs for sure is trying to understand what exactly is going on, just because at the higher level it happens so fast. Everything happens so fast, so you can't necessarily see what is happening. We'll watch the second one as well. Maybe we can notice a couple more things. But one thing I did notice with at least his dragon usage is he didn't use medium dragon. He used heavy dragon, which is the laser, and he used just light dragon, which is just shooting at the dragon. He's definitely relying on spacing a lot. There's the heavy dragon. He dropped combo. It's fine. Side swap combo. So on defense, he got opened up. It's all good. He does jump a bit more often than I would expect. He did super jump there, but right now he's really trying to defend. So as you saw there, he does use 50% DP to get out of the corner, and I'm pretty sure the reason why he uses 50% DP instead of just like heavy DP is because it puts him in a situation that's a little bit better for Oki, where I believe he gets either a side swap or a safe jump. Not 100% sure, but it seems like a very good tool, so maybe you should start considering using that, especially on defense in the corner, just to get yourself out of it, or side swap. And you can of course also see he uses a DP kind of as a get-in tool, just because I believe the EX version is like +2. He's just doing safe jump into strike throw basically, and then poking. Overall, there wasn't anything necessarily crazy about the gameplay. It was all just fundamentals that he used. He was just poking a lot, using his meter properly, and just defending as much as he could. It seems like that's how he won these two games. Of course, we can analyze other games to see more of how he plays, but just off of that, you should realize that fundamentals are extremely important. Some other characters might not necessarily follow that idea of fundamentals are important. For example, like maybe Lancelot or Nier. So you can also, if your character is kind of interesting in that way, you can definitely look at the character you're interested in and then just analyze how they play. For example, I was looking at a Luane earlier, and the Luane was running backwards a lot because his backwards dash is a run, and it's super fast. So he'd run back a lot. He'd then use like robot laser and robot rockets, and then run in and then do whatever behind it. Or he'd use EX back special, which is like some dash get in tool a lot as well. But a lot of it came after he ran back. So that is something unique to Luane, for example, that you would have to start understanding and implementing into your game and try to figure out the reasons why. The thing with these VOD reviews is like the analysis doesn't stop in the VOD review. You need to look at what they use more commonly and in what situation, and then you need to understand why. Because if you're just using it in a specific situation, you don't know why. For example, the EX 50% that I was talking about for Zoe. If you don't know why he's using the 50% DP on Zoe, then you might as well just use the EX version instead. Overall, that's all I really wanted to talk about, and hopefully this helps when you're trying to improve with your game and understand your character.